So you heard what the president had to say, and one of his favorite people in the world, it appears, is the president of China, Mr. Xi. At the same time, we got to do something to fix this. We've talked about this before, and you agree with him, I believe, that something needs to be done. Are they doing it the right way?
Well, you're right. I do think something needed to be done. When I was ambassador over there, it was very clear to me that China was setting up basically another wall, a commercial wall, in addition to the big firewall, making it very difficult for American companies to do business in China. It's very clear. In addition, when I was over there, it's also clear that they're hell-bent for leather in pursuing their China 2025 plan, where China will focus on technologies of the future to enhance their economy on down the road. That's all very, very clear. So I think President Trump was right in kind of punching China in the nose. Past administration efforts, whether it's Obama, Bush, or whomever, really have not produced very much. That is have not really opened up China very much. So I think President Trump is right in making this a much more stronger position, making it very clear that this is something that we need to address, and he's do it in a very solid way. The problem is the solution. Here are some of the issues here. Number one, China is not going to back off from its 2025 program. They're going to work very, very hard, irrespective of American tariffs, to be sure that they in China develop their economy and develop those future technologies. We're not going to be able to slow that down very much. It is true that some of their practices in pursuing that 2025 are not fair, but a lot of them are fair, which means that to some degree we in the U.S. have to start developing our technologies at a much better pace. Add to that, what's the end game here? If these tariffs go into place, how are you going to back down? A lot of people are going to get hurt in the meantime, and it's just unclear as to whether and in what way the solution, we'll find a solution which will enable us to back down the tariffs. But the main point is this: China is going to pursue this program, even though these tariffs are addressed at this China 2025 program. These tariffs are not going to stop China from pursuing that goal.
So, Mr. Ambassador, why don't you help out the administration a little bit here? Give them an end game. If you were running the whole show right now and said, okay, this is realistically what we could accomplish, what would it be?
Well, it's, most difficult things are difficult. Number one, we should encourage our allies, our friends, other like-minded countries to join in with us. That is Great Britain, South Korea, your EU, et cetera, because they face many of these same problems in China that we face. If we work together, we'll get a lot more chance to make some headway over there. One of the best examples where this has worked 3 years ago when I was over there is something called the banking guidelines. And that was a time when China started to impose very stringent restrictions on U.S. technologies into China. That affected South Korea, it affected the EU. We all got together, all the like-minded countries. We were very tough on China, said, China, you cannot do this. We're together on this. The only time I saw China back off was then. They withdrew that regulation. We have to work together.